autonomic nervous system, non-autonomic nervous system. Now, CT scan, this is something CT scan part, how the CT scan is done, right? We'll study from here only, MRI and CT scan. Then PET scan, this tomography. Parkinson disease, that is a disease. This mechanism, how does it work? We have already understood how the neurotransmitter work. Then there are some small depression. What is depression? Treating depression. And then illegal drugs and brain. These are small topic we will study from this textbook only. And then how does the plant response, right? That we have to understand. It's not. Then plant hormone, gibberellin, right? Sensory system, photochrome, phytochrome, how does they work? Long day plant, short day plant. This is the plant part. They have mixed everything. I don't know how does they make this textbook. That is really, I'm surprised. They have mixed with the plant and the animals in the same chapter. And why, I don't understand. Look, human nervous system. So let me tell you again. We have done it. Look, Affaf. So we divide human nervous system in two parts. Central nervous system, that is called CNS, and peripheral nervous system, that is called PNS, right? Central neural system is made up of two parts, brain plus backbone, right? Brain plus backbone. And peripheral nervous system is made up of, again, two parts, cranial nerves and spinal nerves. So what are the cranial nerves, Affaf? We discussed in last class.
The ones that originate from brain.
Sorry. Yeah. They originate from the brain and neck region, right? Also from the neck region, right? Again, they originate from the brain and spinal cord. Spinal cord means neck region. Again, the spinal nerves, they originate from the spinal cord only, not from the brain, right? And further we have divided. I was telling you that we divide the backbone in four parts. Let me make you understand how does we divide. And you said me that no, sir. Bones of leg. Okay, just a minute. Transport neural skeletal system. Where is the backbone? Vertebral. Yes. Look, Affaf. Is it visible to you on screen?
Yes.
This is the vertebral column, means backbone. Backbone is made up of a small bone, and the every unit, that every small bone is called vertebrae, right? So in an infant, there are 33 vertebrae. When we grow up, after some time, the last vertebrae, which is at the tail region, the fuses. And like you and me, we have 26 bone in our backbone. Previously, when we were infant, we were having 33 bones. But the later on, when we grow up, some bones get fused. They are the last bones. Got it?
Yes.
The part of vertebrae which are found at the neck region, that is called cervical. The part of vertebrae that is found in the lungs part, that is called thoracic. The part of backbones or part of the spinal cord or vertebrae that is found in the stomach region, that is called lumbar. Below the lumbar, there is sacrum and coccygeal. Sacrum is basically the fusion of 5 bones, and coccygeal is basically the fusion of 4 bones, right? These are the 9 bones which get fuses into 2 bones and become 2 bones, right? That's what the fusion takes place when we grow up. So generally, we divide the backbone in these 5 parts: cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacrum, and coccygeal. Coccygeal is basically called tail part, right? So When I say cervical part, this is neck region of the backbone. Did you got that?
Yes.
If you want, please take the screenshot. It is additional information. And the formula of backbone is C7 means cervical 7, T12 means thoracic 12, L5 means lumbar 5, S sacrum, and this is bracket means this is a fusion of 5 bones. Means sacrum is 1 bone, but this is fusion of 5 bone. Coccygeal, that is fusion of 4 bone, but it's 1 bone. Clear? This is the formula of backbone. Take this.
Yes. Done.
Done. Now come to the our original part where we were. Now, division of human nervous system. Here we divided the nervous system in 2 parts, right? Based on the structure, we can divide nervous system in 2 parts. Central nervous system, that is called CNS, brain plus spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system, that is PNS. PNS is made up of cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Got it? Again, PNS can be divided into 2 parts on the basis of functional basis, right? We divide it into 2 parts: somatic nerve system and autonomic nerve system. When we talk about the somatic nervous system, we talk about the brain. Somatic nervous system means brain part, right? That is voluntary. It can be controlled by our brain by our own wish. Means somatic nervous system is central nervous system, right? It is controlled by the brain. Basically, this peripheral part, which are the controlled by brain, they are called somatic nervous system or skeletal nervous system. Then another is autonomic nervous system, right? It is also controlled by the brain, but it is not in our control, right? It is involuntary. It cannot be controlled. These basically control the smooth muscles and involuntary muscles, right? Note it down.
Okay, sir, but if PNS is divided into somatic and autonomic, then what about cranial and spinal nerves?
They are the nerves. Basically, these are just nerves. These are the system. These are the systems.
Okay, so PNS has 2 systems.
Right. We
and
have
2
two
types
systems.
of nerves.
Yes. Look, Affaf. We can control our hand. We can control mouth. We can control our eyes. But you can't control our lungs. Both are the controlled by brain. Yes. So
Yes.
controlling of the hand is voluntary activity.
Okay.
It is voluntary.
So what does cranial nerves do?
Cranial nerve, they are the physical thing. There are nerves which come out of the this neck part. They are called cranial nerves. Come from the brain and this part. You call we name them, right? We name them cranial nerves. The nerves which originate from the neck and brain are called cranial nerves. This is not a cranial nervous system. It's cranial nerves, right?
Okay.
We name them. This is the name of nerves, right?
Yes. Okay.
Done.
Sir, I need to take the screenshot.
Yeah, sure. What if you want to note it down? If you want to take this, whatever you want, you can.
Okay, done, sir.
Done. Okay, fine. Then look Affaf. Now the second division is division of the neural system based on function. So on the basis of function, we divide into 2 parts: motor and sensory, right? Look, we have already discussed skin. There are certain receptors, external hot or coldness, whatever the thing is, senses or stimulus. They take it towards the brain. The nerves which take the information toward the brain, they are called sensory nerves, right? There is a certain area in our brain that is called sensory area. Sensory area sense the stimulus, right? Sensory nerves are also called afferent nerve fiber. So afferent means those which take towards the brain, right? In brain, there is another area which take the decision and make the order, that is called motor area. Motor area, from motor area, the nerves originate, they are called motor nerves, right? Motor nerves are called efferent nerves, efferent, which bring back the order, right? They are called efferent nerves, right? So, and this system, so there are only two kind of the nerves in our body, sensory and motor, right? Means afferent or efferent. So we divide nervous system in based on the function. We divide nervous system in two parts: afferent nerve system and efferent nerve fiber. Clear?
Yes. So afferent is giving out.
Right, right. The nerve which giving out, and if afferent is going inside
Yeah. So this is
on the basis
decision
of
making.
function.
Wait.
Division of neural system on the basis of function, and this was the
Okay.
division of nervous system based on structure, right?
But why is it divided into sensory area and motor area?
Basically, there are certain area, there are certain different kind of the neurons which take the which takes or receive something. There are different neuron which take give something, so their category is different. That's why we have divided.
Okay.
Look, whenever you have a problem, right, you go to someone, but it's not necessary that that person will like do the job, right? So you go a particular department, you log in with your, or you tell them their problem. They order to particular team and which solve the problem, right? So there are two. So functionally, structurally, they all are humans, but functionally they are different kind of the humans. One which take the problem, another which solve the problem. Got it?
Yes.
So on the basis of function, we divide brain into the category afferent or efferent, right?
Okay.
Got it or not?
Yes.
Fine.
Sir, this is the same thing like hand receiving something like heat.
Right, right.
And
We did in reflex section. The same thing which we did in reflex section in
so
J4
this
study.
is the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, the
Reflex
same thing.
action.
The same thing. The
Like the
same.
senses go to the brain and the brain is like do this and then our hand moves back.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Taken the screenshot or noted down?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Come to the central nervous system. Affaf, basically central nervous system. When we talk about the central nervous system, we talk about the brain, right?
Yes.
This is the diagram of brain. Please try to understand. Like, I want your 100% focus over. It's easy, right? And then you have to take the screenshot, right? Look up. First and foremost, the outermost layer of our brain. What is that? That is the hair. They are the protective. After the hair, there is a skin, and after that skin, there is a bone. That bone covering is called cranium. This cranium bone, it cover the brain. Brain remains safe inside our covering of bone that is called cranium. Cranium bone is also known as brain box. Inside cranium, there are multiple, inside cranium, there are multiple layers, right? These multiple layers are called meninges, brain membrane, right? Brain membrane. So these meninges or brain membrane, right? They further protect our brain, right? They, because when we fell down, we get stuck with something, or somebody fell on our head. Then what happened? These other than bone get the shock, or bone get the get hurted. But after the bone, there are some shock absorber. which absorb the shock and do not let these effect or forces to reaches till the brain, right? So there are certain membrane which are called meninges, right? The upper part is called, that is a bone, cranium bone. Then there is a first membrane called dura mater. Then another membrane that is called arachnoid matter. Then pia matter. So there are three membrane. After the bone, there are three membrane: dura mater, arachnoid matter, and pia matter. Between the dura and arachnoid, there is a fluid that is called cerebrospinal fluid. It work like shock absorber, right? This fluid remains filled, right? So our brain is protected by first these three membrane and fluid, then by the brain cranium, then by the skin and muscles, then by the hairs. So that's how the brain is protected. Did you got that point?
Yes.
Okay. So these are the covering. Now come to the brain part. Look. The uppermost, this pink color part which is visible to you, this is called forebrain, means the brain with outer brain. That is called cerebrum, right? Cerebrum. Then between there is a midbrain, right? This mid part. This is a midbrain, and this blue color part is called hindbrain, means back brain. Hindbrain is made up of three things. What is that? Cerebellum. This part, this is also called a small brain. Cerebellum is a small brain. It's a Latin word, right? Cerebellum, then pons, and then medulla. Hindbrain is made up of three parts: cerebellum, pons, and medulla. Forebrain, this is the forebrain and midbrain. The largest part is the forebrain, then hindbrain, and the smallest part is the midbrain. Got it?
Yes.
Take this screenshot now. And I hope you will remember this membrane and all that.
Done, sir.
Done? Okay. Now this is the diagram which has been made by me, and now you hope you must use this diagram only, right? Look, the brain is divided in three parts. We just discussed: forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain, right? Forebrain is further divided in three parts: olfactory lobe, cerebrum, and diencephalon. Midbrain is further divided in two parts: corpora quadrigemina and crura cerebri. Hindbrain, I have already told you: pons veroli, medulla oblongata, and cerebellum. It has been divided in three parts. I have just mentioned over here, this is the part is the forebrain, right? This is cerebrum, this is the largest part of the brain. Then again, this is the midbrain, this red color part which has been represented midbrain. There are two glands which are present inside, in fact, three glands present inside our brain. Then we have already discussed that this is the pituitary gland, master gland, and this is the hypothalamus gland, which is called temperature sensor of our temperature thermostat of our brain, right? And then this part, this is called hindbrain. Hindbrain made up of pons, cerebellum, and medulla, right? And now this medulla part, this last part, medulla part, it remains connected. It start connected. So medulla connect our brain with the backbone, right? The spinal cord. The spinal cord start from here. Got it?
Okay, so medulla stays attached to the spinal cord. It extends to the
That's
whole
why.
spinal cord.
Right. So all the cables which come out, all the cables which come out of our brain, they run across through our backbone, because backbone is hollow inside.
Okay.
Backbone is hollow pipe, and there are certain neurons which are you can see it by the naked eye, not require any microscope.
Sir, what does medulla do by being attached to the spinal cord?
This first thing, it is a part of hindbrain, and second thing, that this is the it connect with the spinal cord, means it takes it connect it this is the joint between the backbone and the brain, and medulla control the vomiting and all that. This is all controlled by medulla only. Vomiting, sneezing,
Okay.
heart rate, respiration rate, all controlled by medulla. Got it?
Yes.
Take the screenshot.
So I have taken the screenshot.
Okay. Now the function of like forebrain. In forebrain, olfactory lobe, it senses smell, right? Cerebrum, this is the largest and most complex of the brain, most complex part of the brain. It is divided in two parts, a right and left hemisphere. You can see here. This is the left hemisphere and this is the right hemisphere. So it is divided into two part, right? It have certain up and down fold. You can see up fold are called gyri. Look, it is gyri, up fold, right? These are called gyri. Down fold are called sulcus. Whether depression or down fold, they are called sulcus, right? So brain have gyri and sulcus, right? It is divided in two part, and this is the largest and more complex part. Further, this forebrain is divided into following part: frontal, parietal. What is the function of frontal? It provides creative idea like judgment. Whatever the judgment is taken by, it is taken by the frontal is the part of the brain. Frontal means front part, this forehead part, this part. Look, this part which is present, this is the frontal, right? This is the part frontal, and frontal, the intellectual capability is present only in this part, right? So this is the frontal part, and which help in judgment taking. When we take the judgment, when we see something, when we take any problem, we take the judgment, it is taken by the frontal. Then your intellectual capability. This intellectual ability, it is given by the frontal. Then rising and decision making, right? Reasoning and decision making. Reasoning means when we do any logical, you play the chess, you play any logical game, sudoku and all that. That is all reasoning and logical part, that is controlled by our frontal part, right? Expression of emotion, whatever the emotions mean, those people who express their emotions, right? They are the artist and all that. They are this part is very artistic people. This frontal part is very developed. Willpower and personality. So your willpower and personality is also determined by this part. Got it? Affaf?
Yes.
Where is the frontal part? This pink color part. This is frontal part. Frontal means front. Second part is parietal. Parietal means roof, means upper part. This is parietal. Frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal. Temporal means the part near to the brain. Ear. Temporal part, right? This is occipital. Occipital means back lower part. Temporal part means which is near to the temple, right? So the function of frontal we got is now the function of parietal, means rooftop part. Touch, pain, heat, and cold. These all senses are received and their responses controlled by this parietal part. Position and shape of any object, that is determined. What the shape of object, what is the position of any object, that is also determined by the parietal part. Environment, organizing, right? To understand the environment, to organizing the things, right? Communication, this is all controlled by the parietal brain, right? Temporal, sound interpretation, right? It's a barking of dog, or it's meow of cat, or it's a sound of a horse. It is all interpreted by, or whatever the sound. Suppose that we listen to the Arabic and we convert into the English. It is all controlled. The sound interpretation is also smell memory, memory of smell, right? That is emotion. That is also controlled by the temporal. Occipital, visual information, shape and color, that is determined by occipital. Got it?
Yes.
These were the function of forebrain. Now come to the Diencephalon. So we have divided forebrain in how many parts? Olfactory lobe, cerebrum, then Diencephalon, third part Diencephalon.
So what does
Diencephalon,
gyri do?
sorry, guys, no, these are the physical structure.
Okay.
These are the physical structure.
Okay.
Physically, the uplifted parts called gyri, and this depression is called sulcus, right?
Okay.
They are
Can
not
you
part of it.
scroll a bit? I need to take a picture.
This one,
No, down.
down.
Yeah.
This one.
This. Yeah.
Okay. Now Diencephalon. Diencephalon is also called epithalamus, thalamus, or hypothalamus, right? It is thermoregulatory center, means it regulate or control the temperature of body. Suppose that it's cold outside, body will start shivering, so that it control the temperature, right? That's how it control the temperature. Then behavioral activity. Satiety means feeling of satisfaction, right? That is called satiety. This feeling of satisfaction, it is controlled by Diencephalon. It also influences the heartbeat and respiration. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Then come to the midbrain and hindbrain. Midbrain, I told you that midbrain is very small part, and it have very few functions, right? So it is midbrain is further divided in two part: corpora quadrigemina and corpora cruri, right? This corpora quadrigemina, it gives us sense of sight and hearing capability. Crura cerebri or cerebral peduncle, right? So crura cerebri, it help in a relay of impulses, right? Means it is just like a data cable, right? It connect between the it help in the relay of impulses, means run the impulses between cerebrum, cerebellum, pons, and medulla. It just work like a data cable.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Okay. Now hindbrain means back part of the brain. It is very important. The function of hindbrain is very important, right? Generally, examiner asks these functions, right? So we have already discussed that we divided cerebellum, pons, and medulla. Cerebellum is basically the cerebellum is a Latin word. Cerebellum means a small cerebrum, means a small brain, right? So this is the second largest part of the brain. Which is the largest? That is the cerebrum, and cerebellum is the largest part, the second largest part. Rapid muscular activity like running, typing, and talking, right? So now you can understand those girls which are talkative. Now you will come to know that their cerebellum is very functional and very developed. Got
Oh
it?
wow. Okay.
So and all the like swift activity, those people who play table tennis, who play like this lawn tennis and all that, where you need to be swift, much more swift. So their cerebellum is basically must develop. All involuntary activity and learning in early stage, right? When a child start learning, on that time cerebrum is not that much developed. Cerebellum help in the learning that activity, right? And all those involuntary activity means those activity where we do not have our control, like digestion and all that, right? Number of the activity where we do not have any control, these are just a kind of the automated system which has been already designed and pre-programmed. So that automated system or pre-programmed system, that is all controlled. There is some control system, right? So automation of body is done by the cerebellum, right? And one more thing, you must have the seen that the people who take the alcohol, they they tell you all things, right? Because alcohol affects cerebellum. They cannot walk properly because body balance is controlled by cerebellum, right? So they cannot walk properly, right? You can, if the person have drunk, you can see it and you can tell it that he's affected by alcohol, right? They cannot talk properly because the body balance is controlled by the cerebellum. Got it? That's why drink and drive is not allowed, because driving is just balancing the car. Balancing is the car of the car is done by the cerebellum, and cerebellum get disturbed after drinking. Got it?
Yes.
Then it's pons viruli. Pons,
Sir, I need to ask a question.
yeah.
Is there anything that prevents the brain from being perfectly developed?
Once more. I didn't got. Is
Is
there
there
anything?
something that stops the brain from developing perfectly?
Stop brain developing perfectly.
Yeah. Affects the growth of the brain.
Okay, it hamper the growth of the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are certain things actually, but first thing is that is the genetical development, right?
Okay.
That is the genetical, and there are certain hormones which are required for the development of the brain. They stop the development of the brain, right? And you know what is the, there are, when we say that the development of the brain, of there are two things. First thing,
Okay.
that the development of neurons, right? Brain size, right? If you know this brain size, every, like you, me, and all the people who are normal, they have the same brain size, right? There is no difference in the cubical capacity of the brain. Size is same. But if a person have some genetical defect, then there are fair enough chances the brain do not develop fully. But these kind of genetically defected people do not survive for the long time. They have short lifespan. You'll see they have the short life, right? Second thing, the development of the brain means, you know, how much the brain we utilize. Can you tell me how much the part of the brain we utilize?
1%?
Huh?
1%?
Not even a 1%. You know,
Oh
Affaf,
wow.
one
If we can
one
use our whole brain, what will happen?
will become next to the God,
Oh wow.
almost
Okay.
God. Will become almost God. You know, uh, actually, 1% part was the developed and used by this one Einstein,
Okay.
and the people like you and me uses 0.4%.
Wow.
And
No wonder why we're so dumb.
and you know, some of the people, they are they are working it like less than 1.1%, means almost negligible uses, right? Some of the people take care of it, they do not use it much more, right? So now you can understand, like, uh nobody can, like, till today, like we calculate the working functional part of the brain with the help of IQ level, right? IQ level is just test which tells you that how many percentage, how part, like how many percentage of the part of your brain is which is usable, when which you are using. So on the basis of that, nobody can use more than 4%. So still the large part of the brain, it is unused. But so if you will use 100%, you will become next to the God. Now, have you seen that movie? There is a very old movie, Lucy.
No.
Watch it.
Okay.
Spare some time watching good movie. Have you seen
Yeah,
that? Yeah,
Disney
you do.
is not anymore.
Uh, what happened? There is a internet disconnect. Unable to listen you properly. Am I audible to you properly? Hello, Affaf. You are not audible to me.
Hello.
Yeah, now I can listen. Yes,
Yeah, I've screenshot.
I think there is some disturbance now started with your internet.
Yeah. Well, my whole family's using the internet, so there's not much point about it.
Okay, somebody is downloading aggressively, eh?
Maybe, I don't know. I don't check everyone's phone.
Okay, somebody may be downloading movie and all that, have internet files. So it downloading speed. Okay, no issue. So what is the medulla function of medulla oblongata? Uh, Center regulate the heart rate, means center part of it can regulate the heart rate, blood pressure, breathing, swallowing, salivation, means you see a very tasty food, smell it and salivation start, sneezing, vomiting, you see something dirty, something pie kind of the thing, and you get vomited. So that is also controlled by medulla oblongata. Medulla, this alcohol affect the hide brain, and that's why somebody who is not used to with the drinking vomit out, coughing,
Yeah.
involuntary
Okay,
action.
sorry.
Yeah, in coughing
Okay.
and involuntary action. That is all controlled by medulla oblongata.
Sir, if somebody finds a lot of things dirty,
Yeah.
is it because their medulla oblongata is too well developed?
uh, yeah, you know, you train it. Yeah, like those people who do the dissection, those who are the doctors, they get now like dirty kind of the things, like dirty kind of the wounds, but they do not vomit it out. They train that just medulla oblongata. You need to train your brain. When you train your brain, you won't vomit out.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what happens during the master's time, when we used to go to the like dissection part in geology classes, many of the girls, they used to vomit out in the dissection tray only. So
Oh,
first
wow.
first
So,
first they have to
what is she
clean
going
the
to place
dissection
there?
tray.
Her vomit or the organ?
Did you face that?
Oh, my teacher, when I was in grade 10, she dissected a sheep's eye and all the vitreous humor came out and I thought I would vomit, but I didn't.
Yeah, so many times, you know what happens, but when you use become used to it, right? You do it again and again and again and again, then you won't vomit out, and that time you make it used to, right, your brain. So did you take in the screenshot of this one as well?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Then transmission, we everything reflex section, I just told you, right? You have already understood. Human eye, I have told you, right? Then all this part we did it. Then what else?
So you had to dissect a dead human?
No. Actually, this is done in medical, in MBBS and all that. And you know, that human body, dead human body, it is provided to those who do the MBBS and all that doctorate course, not for this. Like we PhD student, they just get the shark and all that, these kind of the animal, shark, pila, crab, cockroach, and these kind of.
Okay.
Then
I just broke my glasses. Wow.
what?
No, I was talking to myself.
You're very exhausted with your classes.
No, no. No, I had a really expensive pair of glasses that I had been taking care of, and now I just realized I broke them.
Okay.
Oh.
Mm, so look, Okay, one more thing, sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves. Voluntary or autonomous we discuss, right? So
Yeah.
let's discuss with the sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve system. This is the same game, right? So difference between parasympathetic and sympathetic nerve system. Both the parasympathetic and sympathetic autonomic nervous system have myelinated and pre-ganglionic fiber that leave the central nervous system. Ganglion means I have already told you that the collection of different nerves, right? And the synapse. In a ganglion, a collection of cell bodies outside the central nervous system, right? Unmyelinated means myelin sheath is not present over there, right? In sympathetic system, the ganglion are very close to central nervous system. So pre-ganglionic fibers are short and post-ganglionic fibers are long, right? Pre-ganglionic fiber, ganglia means those not door connection. So the nerve fiber before the ganglia, they are the shorter one. The nerve fiber after the ganglia, they are the longer one. In parasympathetic system, situation is reverse. The ganglions are near to the effector and the pre-ganglionic fibers are very long. That is just reverse it of it, right? But the main thing is that not it was just what we talk. This look, parasympathetic nerve system, post-ganglionic fiber short, pre-ganglionic fiber long. This is the central nervous system, is backbone. Sympathetic nerve system, pre-ganglionic fiber are short, but post-ganglionic fibers are longer. So that is just
Preganglionic fibers are the ones that join to the ganglion.
ganglia is just a look. So suppose that this is a single fiber which connect to the backbone, right? Number of the nerve come and they join over here, right? This knot, this junction, this circuit junction. This circuit junction is called ganglia. This part is pre-ganglionic fiber. This part is post-ganglionic fiber. Did you got that?
Yes.
So ganglia means just a joint, just a knot, right? Okay.
Okay. So, but in the sympathetic system, the postganglionic fiber is just one.
This is just no. This is just representative. It's a representative.
Okay.
It's a representative
Okay.
diagram. That's not an actual diagram.
Okay, so all of the nerves are covered with the myelinated fiber?
Right. And we have already discussed that myelin may or may not be present over there, right?
Okay.
When I was telling you, I told you that, and those which are the myelinated, they will have the Schwann cell because the myelin is itself secreted from the Schwann cells, right? And those where they are non-myelinated means they will not have Schwann cells, right? And one more important thing which I want to tell over here, I have told you that the role of the myelin just is it speed up the traveling of information, right? So if it will have myelin, then that information will travel faster, and if it will not have myelin, then the information will not be travel that much faster, right?
Okay.
Okay. There are two basic differences between these two autonomic nervous systems. Sympathetic and parasympathetic both are the autonomic nervous system, right? Means they are self-controlled. They cannot be controlled by the brain. Sympathetic nervous system produces noradrenaline and at the synapse and usually produces a rapid response to the target system. This sympathetic autonomic nervous system is sometimes referred to as fight or flight system, right? Fight or flight system. When you are active or under the physical or physiological stress, the sympathetic nervous system will dominate and stimulate the organ of the body, cope up the stress you experience, right? Parasympathetic nerve system often have slower, calming inhibitory effect on the organ that maintain the normal functioning of the body, that restore the calm after the stressful situation. It is sometimes referred as the rest and digest or feed or breed system. In contrast to the action of parasympathetic, both are involuntary, but one system that work faster, and the system which will work faster definitely it will have the neuron which are myelinated, and the system which works slower definitely it won't have the neurons that is Means it will have the neurons which are the non-myelin. Got it? What is the parasympathetic? It is given some examples over here. Sympathetic, that is the dilates pupil, inhibit this flow of saliva.
Sir, all of these are involuntary actions?
Both are the involuntary,
Okay, so not in our control.
not in our control. Right?
Okay.
Chemical control, and that the chemical control is slower than the neural control. There is nothing too much more understand over here. Medical imaging, CT scan. So that is a computed tomography, CT scan. X-ray can be used to take very effective image of the hard tissues such as bones, and they are much less useful for the preparing the image of soft tissues such as the brain, right? Because the neurons and muscles are the soft tissues. Then we go for the CT scan, right? That have allowed scientists and the doctors to see inside the brain. A CT scan involves the thousands of the beam of X-ray which are passed through the area of the body such as head. Each beam is reduced in strength by the density of the tissues it passes through, right? So the density will be more, the less the tissue, it will be less permeable for the X-rays. The X-ray which passes through the tissues are detected and measured. The computer system put together all these data to produce the cross-section image of the things slice slice through the body. Sometime a special dye is injected in the blood or tissues. You must have seen the before the going to the CT scan, some people are given a liquid to drink it out. It's very untasty kind of the drinking, that is the water. So that water have some radioactive kind of the element, and the people when we drink it, it goes to the stomach, then it goes to the blood, then it goes to the brain and all that. Then we perform the CT scan. Normally doctor does it. Have you ever gone the CT gone with the person who had to do the CT scan, or yourself?
I've seen, no, I was supposed to get it done, but thankfully doctor said no. Um, but I've seen someone get CT scan
Right,
done
right.
and
You
MRI
must have
scan.
seen that they give a liquid in the water to drink it.
Yeah, yeah.
So a CT scan can identify a major structure in the brain and detect the problems such as the tumors, bleeding in the brain, or swelling of the arteries in the brain. All right, it does not detect very structural detail. The image are like to the photograph. They are images of the frozen at the time. CT scan cannot be used to show how the areas of the brain are used or change during the different activities. However, we can use uh, evident from the CT scan images linked to the change in the behavior to understand the importance of the certain area of the brain. Now that diagnose the brain injuries, stroke, tumor, infection, the brain of the spine. By showing of the area of the damage of the brain very clearly, it is enabled the doctor to scientists to make the link between the structural part of the brain and pattern behavior seen in the patient. However, MRI, magnetic resonance, so MRI scans histological image of the brain like CT scan, but they don't show it while it working, right? So the function, a more development technology is functional magnetic resonance imaging,
Sir,
MRI. Sorry.
actually you had to start from MRI and fMRI scans. We read that part on the top.
Oh, right. MRI scan. Okay, fine. Uh, MRI and fMRI, right? Magnetic resonance imaging, MRI scans, produces an image that show much more detail of the CT scan. They are produced using the magnetic field and the ratio wave to the image of the soft tissues. The This removes the small risk of the damaging from the X-rays CT scan. Hydrogen atoms are the most commonly imaging element, partially because of the much more body made up of the water. Every molecule of the water contains two hydrogen atoms, and partially because of the hydrogen atom produces a particularly strong MRI signal. A computer system analyzes the signal that are produced and produces an image. Different tissues respond differently the magnetic field from the ratio of the waves. The way response depend on the factor including the amount of the water in the structure. As a result, we can recognize the distinct region of the brain in the image. Distinct section of the body that usually examine and produces two-dimensional MRI scans. However, the computer can put these slices together and produces the three-dimensional images. MRI produces a very detailed image which give a doctor a great deal of information about the living brain on doctor use it. Means this is the more effective than this one CT scan. Uh, Functional magnetic resonance imaging fMRI scan make it possible to watch the different area of the brain action while people perform the different tasks. The brain of the MRI scanning monitoring the absorption of the oxygen in different brain areas. Deoxyhemoglobin absorb the radio wave signal and the later re-emits, whereas the oxyhemoglobin does not. The blood flow in that area in the brain which active increases the more oxyhemoglobin delivered the supply of inactive cells and the oxygen. They need for the aerobic respiration less signal absorbed as a result of the active areas of the brain absorb and emit. It is all depend on the absorption of the uh, this magnetic waves by those deoxyhemoglobin area. The number of the MRI images which can be recorded for the each second constantly increasing. Therefore, as technology improves, the scientist is able to observe more precisely change in the brain activity while different tasks are performed. It's possible to generate an extremely uh, spatially accurate image with the brain fMRI. At that moment, we use it mainly to investigate a normal brain structure and the function. For example, we can see clear difference in the activity of the brain of the people dyslexia when they are reading the compared with the brain of non-dyslexia readers, means which have the reading problem, right? How we are the increasingly means it is that much precise. However, the increasingly researchers are looking the way of using MRI to diagnose the disease such as the early signs of the stroke and damage are beginning of the Alzheimer. Alzheimer is a kind of the disease when neurons start when the people start forgetting neurons, then neurons start damaging and the people die. However, there are some disadvantages of MRI, fMRI like MRI. It is a noise producing, which some people find very stressful. Patient must keep their head completely still because any movement reduces the accuracy of the image. This is mainly limit what we can test through increasingly. The scientists are finding the way to allow the movement in the other body area. For example, in investigation, the scientists studied the uh, brain brain of dancers as they move their feet, and if uh, uh, dancing to the music, the areas which lit up very strongly link up the speech and area of the brain. Some neurophysiologists have questioned that a validity of MRI scans. They argue that the blood flow to the different area of the brain when subject to looking for different stimuli is a cause of correlation, not causation. Scientists must do researches to confirm whether or not a causal link. For the now, the majority of the scientists in the field of convinced that the areas which are the highlighted by this are imaging technique really are the active region of the brain involved in activity. Then it comes to the PET scan. Yes, cover the PET scan as well, and I'll keep till here only of PET scan till PET scan, right? So positive emission tomography scan give the scientist and doctor another way of forming detailed 3D image inside the body. Inducing the brain PET scan reveal abnormal areas in the body and can also show how well differentiated area work. PET scan can be combined with the CT scan and MRI scan, produces a very detailed imaging help of the diagnosis. The great advantage of the PET scan is they can show how the parts of your brain actually work. It means it show the functional diagrams. They can be used to plan the surgery and giving the surgeon a 3D image of the area of the brain what are the affected. To produce a PET scan, a patient is injected with a radio radio tracer, radioactive isotope. That's what I was talking about, which is a similar to the glucose. It means that the body treat a similar way and it's carried out to the all cells. The scanner work by detecting the radiation which uh, uh, which radio tracer give, and the computer system analyze with where it accumulates and where it does not. So the example, a cancer cells absorb much more radioactive than the normal cells. A PET scan can show the cancerous cells clearly. Areas of the brain or areas of the legs active they should be. For example, the area we have died a result of the disease of the Alzheimer, uh, which causes the dementia, absorb the less radioactive expected. You can see the difference between the PET scan and healthy brain and the affected dementia. Got it? So that was the PET scan. And in next class, I will start with the Parkinson disease. Got it? Puff.
Okay.
Okay. So keep it till here. Next
Why
class.
are we ending the class now?
Sorry.
Why are we ending the class now?
Actually, it's too much noise outside, so I'm not that much comfortable today. Too much noise. It's a
Oh,
marriage actually, and outside of the studio, right?
okay.
So it's disturbing a lot. It's like it do not like since last 30 minutes I am like unable to perform well, right? So depression and all that. We have done almost our syllabus. Don't worry. Yes. So